That's
Good
us.
morning.
This is rock and roll.
Yeah.
Our class is rock and roll.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you this before, if I have ever told you this, but did you know that just because I use 4 seconds of this film, if I upload it, because I did one of our videos I uploaded with Good
Uh-huh.
Morning Vietnam. Do you know that they detect that I'm using a part of a film,
Uh-huh.
and then they send me a message, because there's something in YouTube law called
Mhm.
copyright strike.
Mhm.
If they warn you and if you keep using stuff that you're not supposed to use, they cancel your account.
Yeah.
So they have this thing called copyright strike. So they warn you.
Okay.
They you know, and then
Mhm.
you are allowed to have three copyright strike, and after the third
Mhm.
one, they cancel your account.
Okay.
But now they're doing something different, um, because there are lots of people using very tiny sections, so it's no big deal.
Uh-huh.
But when you do that, you can no longer monetize on your video. So, for example, if
Mhm.
one of the videos that we are producing here, if it became viral, if it went viral, probably
Uh-huh.
my channel would grow. I would become a YouTuber.
Blogueirinho.
No, but it could happen. So,
Uh-huh.
and if I became a YouTuber, YouTube would advertise in my channel, every time, because I'm popular. Everybody wants to watch me. So every time
Uh-huh.
somebody went on my channel to watch one of my videos, they would put a little ads.
Mhm.
And every time anybody sold any product in my channel, I would make money. I
Mhm.
would get a percentage of the sale. But when you do that, when you use copyrighted
Mhm.
material, then you cannot monetize. And if I make any money in that particular channel, the money goes to the owners of the film. So imagine this. Suppose I have
Mhm.
I don't know, a 50-minute video, and I used 4 seconds, not 40, 4 seconds of that film.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter how good my film is, the money would go to the studio. I mean, to Hollywood studio.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? But
It's not fair.
but I think it's interesting because it's their way of protecting.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, it's not my material. I didn't make that film. I didn't create anything. I just want to use it. So do you want
Mhm.
to use it? Okay, by all means, use it. But the money is mine. Okay,
Oh,
so normally what I do now, just to avoid copyright strikes, when we finish our session, just before I post a final version, I just
mhm.
remove the beginning to avoid
Yeah.
conflict.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, how are you today?
I'm fine,
Yeah.
but without coffee today because I have a bloody test to do.
Okay. So you have to be, what's the word for that? You have to
No,
fast.
no food in the stomach.
Yeah. Did you know that this is called fasting?
Fasting.
Yeah. Just like something very, very rapid, the word, let me type it here for you. I learned this with an uncle of mine.
Mm.
Fast. For
Uh,
example, for example, uh, you probably you must have heard about a Muslim holiday called Ramadan. Have you ever heard about Ramadan? Do you know what that is?
uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
during
kind of,
Ramadan,
yeah.
yeah, the Muslims, I think it's for about 1 week, and it's around our Easter time. I think I could be wrong, but I think they celebrate the Muslim holiday called Ramadan around the same time that we celebrate Easter. And I think it's for 1 or 2 weeks. They fast from 6 o'clock in the morning, if I'm not mistaken, until 6 in the evening. So apparently during the day, while the sun is up, they cannot eat. but at 6 o'clock in the evening, they're allowed to eat. So this practice, it's called fasting. So they fast. To fast means not to put any food on your stomach. And then think about this, and that's what I love about English. What is breakfast? Well, it's a
Yeah.
meal for you to break
Mm-hmm.
your fast.
Yeah.
Because during the night you fast, and in
Yeah.
the morning you
Uh,
break it. So
uh-huh.
if you think about, the pronunciation should be
Yeah.
break fast, but actually it's not. It's breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
logic, the origin is this, and I thought it was so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Break your fast, breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're fasting today, so no coffee for you.
No coffee. And I'm thirsty, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I drink a little
So
amount of water.
you're not
I don't know
supposed.
if I can.
Mm,
Do
so
you know this?
um,
I think
what?
water don't break fast.
Okay, what time is your blood test? What time are they collecting?
I have to go to the lab
Ah, you're going
to
there.
collect.
Ah, okay. Did you
Yeah.
know that during the pandemic, lots of labs have created a collection service in which they come to your
Mhm.
house and they collect
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, but I think it's for people in the risk groups, you know, or
Ah,
people who have COVID. I don't know. But
ah,
normal people, health people,
like you, strong. Yeah, I have to go to
I
the.
have
Yeah,
that.
I don't know because
Yeah.
I have a student and she has a 7-year-old kid, and they went to her apartment. I don't know. I think some labs, they're really offering this service because of the quarantine, because so that
Uh-huh.
way people can stay home, I
Hmm.
mean, they promote the social service, social service, social distancing. Okay, but um, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because you see, I'm a terrible patient. I break all the rules, so I don't think you should listen to me. So, in your position, okay, because you're not me, so I would be more
Yeah.
responsible and try not to drink any water. As soon as we finish this class, go straight to the lab, do it, and after that, you have a big breakfast. And
But I think it's not a problem to
no,
drink
a little bit of
a,
water.
a gully. A
Yeah.
gully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just I suppose you can say if it's a very small,
Yeah, just to
when you put the cup in your mouth and you go like this, just a little bit.
yeah,
It's called a
yeah.
sip.
I
Uh-huh.
yeah,
So
I'm go
just a small amount,
mm,
right? You can say a sip of water. So a sip of water is when you put a little bit, put the cup there and you go like this.
mhm.
Just it's almost like you kiss the cup. This is a sip. And
Yeah.
when you open your mouth and you take one mouthful, then it's a gulp.
Okay.
Okay? Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
in our last class, we stopped at a very special moment in the video. What do you
Yeah.
remember about that special moment?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, so let's start with that.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay, just a second.
Was it a big shock to have kids, especially?
Okay. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back a little bit further, right? And we're going to pick up from the moment when she asked her father if it was a big shock for him to learn that he was going to be a father. Okay?
Mhm.
So because
Okay.
he was always away with a big rock band in the 80s. So was it a shock to you to learn you're going to have a baby? Let's see.
Mhm.
Was it a big shock to have kids, especially when you're away, traveling with a big rock band in the 80s?
I wasn't the kind of person who'd be ready for family and settling down, but you probably saved my life. I remember you being born. I remember in detail. I was in the recording studio. Your mother came to pick me up. She had packed me a small little flask of whiskey, some novel I was reading, some newspapers. She was together when I was recording. So up to the last minute, I was probably in denial. Men experience great fear during the childbirth of their kids because there's nothing they can do. Normally if somebody you love is screaming or, upset, you just smack the person who's making it happen. You can't do that. So I had a very strange Irish deal with this, and I recorded your heartbeat. So I had this little portable tape recorder, and I recorded your heartbeat. And I was going to make a song up using your heartbeat as a rhythm. And I noticed the heartbeat getting slower. So I called the nurse and I said, look, the heartbeat's getting slower here. And they were like, yeah, no, don't worry. And I said, no, really, tempo. I understand tempo. And eventually I called the doctor. And the doctor went, ah. And so you were rushed into existence.
Okay. Lots of interesting things for us to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. So
So
was it
so she asked if it was a shock to him to learn that he would be a father. And he said that it was because he wasn't a person who was I don't know, ready. Always came ready in my mind.
No, but this is right. You forgot the motto would. Okay, so he was not the kind of man, the kind of person who would be ready for a family, who would be ready to settle down, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but
And
he
then
said that she
he said
came
that
into her, she
yeah,
came into his
she
life.
she saved his life.
Okay, right.
And
Did he remember?
and then he said that she saved his life because until the moment of the birth,
Until, yes,
he
okay.
was denying.
He was in denial.
In denial.
It was in
In
denial.
denial.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
And he pointed it out that men they were not they are not they he said men don't have too much thing to do in that moment. So
Okay.
do
you remember what he said about
men fell?
they feel?
Yeah.
They
What?
feel what?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember
They feel fearful.
Okay, you remember that. So men
The
experience
connection, our connection today is
it's breaking up,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's a delay today.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me check my
But
connection
okay.
here. Yeah, maybe it's the rain, maybe it's the cold weather. I don't know. But yes,
Yeah,
it's a little
yeah.
bit.
Uh-huh.
I can still hear you perfectly well. The sound seems to be okay. On my side, my reference is YouTube, because when I start streaming, they test the connection, right? And it
Uh-huh.
says here, oh, the connection is excellent. So I don't know. Maybe in Coqueiro
Hmm.
today from your side could be.
Yeah.
But the thing is, only your image, not that it freezes, but sometimes it loses resolution. There's a
Okay.
drop in quality in the resolution, which I think the system does automatically. So that it doesn't break up. So
Hmm.
that the signal doesn't break up. But the audio is perfect. I can hear you. But anyway,
Okay.
let me just go back a little bit. So men experience great fear, you know,
Yes.
uh, at their first child's birth. But why is that?
Hmm.
What is the logic in this? Why do men experience great fear?
Yeah, because they don't have too much things to do.
You know, it's so interesting when you say that, because I know you understood, but the way you registered, makes it difficult for you
Yeah.
to bring it back. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Relax. Let me help you. And I'm going to play that part again anyway. No, because what he said was
Uh-huh.
this. Look, he said that usually, okay, when someone you love, right, is in pain or is suffering, okay, or is crying, what do we men do? Well, we smack the person who's causing that. So
Hmm.
for example, I have a girlfriend or I have a wife and she's crying. So, oh, you're making my wife cry. Boof. I go there and I smack the person who's making my wife cry. But in a situation like that, at childbirth, there's nothing you can do. So men experience great fear because there's nothing they can do. And that's what you were trying to
Uh-huh.
say. There is
Yeah.
nothing they can do. Because when you
There's
said
no-
they don't have a lot
Yeah.
of things to do, it's like they're sitting there and they're lazy and okay, I could read a book, or I have nothing to do. But that's not really the message. No, the message is the other person is in pain, is crying, is suffering, and you feel powerless, and that's the
Mhm.
problem. Men experience that because there's nothing they
Mhm.
can do, but not because they don't
Yeah.
want to do. There's nothing they can
Mhm.
do, so they feel it's a helpless situation.
Yeah. Sorry.
COVID? It's not.
No, really
No.
nice. Really, I don't know.
Hopefully not, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
they experience great fear. Okay. Now, but he said he remembered
And then,
in detail.
yeah, he said he remembered in detail
Hmm.
everything, and then he um, he told what happened in the day.
Hmm.
He said he was in the uh,
Studio.
in the
Record.
studio. Yes,
Hmm.
he was recording,
Yes.
and her mom went to pick him up, and she packed uh, um,
But
she packed some things to
but
him.
but did she do that at that moment?
Yeah, before the birth and the day
So she
of the
had
the,
so
the
she had packed.
she had packed. Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna
She
play it
had
again.
packed it. Yes.
Because I'm gonna play it again, and you're gonna see it's very interesting because Bono himself he uses past perfect to explain that. So she
Yes.
had
Yes.
packed him.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
So she had packed him a little
yeah,
flask.
a little flask of whiskey and um, a novel he was
Reading
reading,
and
and newspapers
mm-hmm.
and a
Uh-huh.
newspaper. I
Uh-huh.
don't know.
Okay.
What
So,
else?
did you notice by any
And
chance the way
yeah,
he used the word together? Did you notice?
no,
No, it's because he said
no
something
idea.
like this. She was the together. In other words, she was the together. In other words, she was the person who was calm and in control, you know. She
Mhm.
was not the person who in a situation like this is losing her mind, you know.
Uh-huh.
So she was, and it's funny the way he used it because he said, well, she was the together one, while I
Uh-huh.
was probably still in denial until the very end. So she
Mhm.
came to the studio to pick him up, and she had packed him those things that you mentioned. And then,
Mhm.
what happened?
Uh, and then uh, he mentioned it. Something about record her heartbeat because he
Yes.
said he had a portable recording
Right. So
portable
he had a portable
portable
a portable tape
tape
rec-
recorder.
hmm
Uh-huh.
and his
And then
and his plan was to record her heartbeat.
hard to make a music. Yes.
Based on the rhythm of her heartbeat, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And
right.
then, what
And
did he
then
notice?
uh, he noticed that something was wrong with the heartbeat.
Yeah, it was getting slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's lower. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then he called to the doctor,
Uh-huh. First, he called the nurse.
and the doctor,
No, but remember that first he called the
yeah,
nurse. And the
no,
nurse, no, okay. No, but because first he called the nurse.
no.
And the nurse dismissed him and said,
Uh-huh.
no, no, don't worry about it. That's normal. There's nothing wrong there.
Hmm.
You don't remember that? Or you do?
No.
Okay. So wait a second.
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, no problem. Let me play it again. 1 second. 1 minute. Okay, here we go.
Was it a big shock to have kids, especially when you're away, traveling with a big rock band in the 80s?
I wasn't the kind of person who'd be ready for family and settling down, but you probably saved my life. I remember you being born. I remember in detail. I was in the recording studio. Your mother came to pick me up. She had packed me a small little flask of whiskey, some novel I was reading, some newspapers. She was the together one. I was recording. So up to the last minute, I was probably in denial. Men experience great fear during the childbirth of their kids because there's nothing they can do. Normally if somebody you love is screaming or, upset, you just smack the person who's making it happen. You can't do that. So I had a very strange Irish deal with this, and I recorded your heartbeat. So I had this little portable tape recorder, and I recorded your heartbeat. And I was going to make a song up using your heartbeat as a rhythm. And I noticed the heartbeat getting slower. So I called the nurse and I said, look, the heartbeat's getting slower here. And they were like, yeah, no, don't worry. And I said, no, really, tempo. I understand tempo. And eventually I called the doctor. And the doctor went, ah, ah. And so you were rushed into existence.
Yeah.
Did you get it this time?
Yeah.
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 Did you notice
No,
him using past perfect when he said she had packed me a
yes.
small little
Uh-huh.
flask of whiskey? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Uh-huh.
so about the nurse. So he noticed her heartbeat was getting slower. So he called the
Yeah.
nurse and
And the nurse said that that it was normal.
hmm
Yeah. And uh, but he didn't agree, and he called to the doctor,
and why
and the
did
doctor
and why didn't he agree?
um, I don't remember.
Oh my God. Your Catupiry coffee today is really making a difference.
Yes.
Oh my God. No, it's because he used the word tempo. Do you remember tempo? Do you remember what that
Yeah,
means? In
tempo.
music.
But I don't understand. I don't know.
Ah, you didn't know that. Okay. Now, tempo, right, is
Mhm.
a kind of a measuring system in music, right? And it has to do with time.
Ah,
So
okay.
what happens is this, okay? For example, if I'm a singer, right, and you play the drum, the bass guitar or the guitar. Now I
Mhm.
listen to the accords that you play, right? I need to
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
notes, and I know exactly when I should start singing. So in other words, I
Mhm.
count those musical notes, right? This is
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
tempo. You
Ah,
understand the
okay.
rhythm and the frequency, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what is a heartbeat? Well, it's like a song. It has
Yeah.
a rhythm and so
Mhm.
on. And his
Mhm.
listening skills for music, for tempo, they're very sharp. He's a musician. He has to be
Yeah.
good at that. So he turned to the
Mhm.
nurse and said, no, 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 tempo. I understand tempo. And he was sure that there was something wrong, right? So then
Mhm.
eventually he
Right.
called the doctor,
Yeah.
and he was right because the doctor freaked out. It was
Yeah.
it was serious, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I don't expect you to remember, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you remember what was the last thing he said after that? When the doctor
Uh,
went,
yeah. He said she was rushed
yes, she was rushed
in the world.
into existence.
I don't know.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was rushed into existence. What does that
Uh-huh.
mean for us in terms of interpretation? What does that mean? She was rushed into existence. What does that mean?
I think that she was born before the time that she would
Right.
born.
She was born premature.
Yeah.
But you see,
See?
that's no, but that's beautiful.
See?
You didn't know
So easy.
you didn't know the word, but you explained it. That's perfect. That's good listening. That's good interpretation. So that's interpretation, right? He said, "Look, you were rushed into existence," meaning she was born premature. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh that's it. We covered that part. Now let's advance. So, here we go.
Portable tape recorder, and I recorded your heartbeat. And I was going to make a song up using your heartbeat as the rhythm. And I noticed the heartbeat getting slower. So I called the nurse and I said, look, the heartbeat's getting slower here. And they were like, yeah, no, don't worry. And I said, no, no, really, tempo. I understand tempo. And eventually I called the doctor. And the doctor went, ah. And so you were rushed into existence. You were so small, you were tiny. They suggested that you should be near my heart or your mother's heart. You were so vulnerable. You were 5 pounds. So you slept on my chest for 2 weeks. It's the most terrifying thing in the world to have this little thing right there. You were born on my birthday. Greatest gift I could ever get.
Cosmic twins.
Cosmic twins. But I think there's something, we were born for each other.
Still can't believe you made Mom drive herself to the hospital while she was in labor.
I did not make your mother. She wouldn't let me drive. She just wouldn't trust me driving.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so she was rushed into existence, right? Okay. And what did he explain after that? She was very small, right? She was tiny. She weighed only
Yeah.
5 pounds.
Yeah.
And what did the
And
doctors
the
recommend?
doctor had recommend that she should sleep in near the heart of her father and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So he said she had slept
Mm-hmm.
for 2 weeks in his chest,
Mm-hmm.
and um,
How did it
and
feel?
he pointed out that it was well, he said, I don't know if he said it was weird
Terrifying.
or
Ter-
terrifying. Yeah.
yeah, it was the most terrifying thing. But why? Why was it terrifying to have a baby on your chest? A baby is a baby. It was not a monster.
Yeah.
But why was it terrifying? Why was he scared?
But yeah, he was scared to hurt her. I don't know, because he
Exactly.
was
Because she was
tiny.
yeah, because she was tiny. She was very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was premature.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And
And what else?
I think that's it, right? It was the most terrifying thing. She slept on his chest for the next 2 weeks. Yes, I guess that's it.
No, I think he said something more,
Something more? Okay. We'll
but I
find
don't remember.
okay, don't worry. We'll find out. Wait a second. Let
Oh
me
my God, coffee.
okay.
Coffee, I miss you.
Okay, let's see what we're missing. Because I think we're both missing coffee today. I didn't drink coffee either today. Let's have a look.
Let me.
You should be near my heart, or your mother's heart. You were so vulnerable. You were 5 pounds. So you slept on my chest for 2 weeks. It's the most terrifying thing in the world to have this little thing right there. You were born on my birthday. Greatest gift I could ever get.
Cosmic twins.
Cosmic twins. But I think there's something, we were born for each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
This part is a tricky part.
it's funny because I always pay attention to this part because I think it's very important, but for some reason I always forget. I think it's because that thing with the heart and being vulnerable, I think it's so big that it makes me forget. But anyway, it's about her birthday,
Yeah.
the day she was born.
Yeah.
What is
She was
that?
born in the day of his birthday,
Mm-hmm.
in the same day
The same day.
of.
So to him, it was the greatest gift he could ever
Yeah.
ask for, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and now I learned that there's a name for this that
Yeah.
is cosmic twins. Yes.
Yes. Causing my twins, right? I didn't understand exactly the term.
Again, I did that thing.
No, but
because
maybe I'm
I
wrong.
understood
Maybe I'm wrong because I don't know this expression.
twins.
Oh, the
I
only
heard cosmic twin.
comic twins. Type it for me what you understood.
Cosmic,
Hey,
cosmic,
okay, so type it for me. Let me see. Cosmic twins.
cosmic twins, cosmic
Wow, but
twins.
I think you're absolutely right. Wait a second. No, seriously. Cosmic soulmate, cosmic twin. So,
That's soulmate.
yeah, but I think you're absolutely right. So they were born for each other, Bono said in the end.
Yeah.
Let me just. Cosmic twins.
Cosmic twin in horoscope chat.
Uh huh.
And somebody said, I have known even then people whose birthdays are a lot closer and blah blah blah. Well, I
Yeah,
think that's
that's it. That's it.
that's it.
Well
Yeah.
done. You see, you do some crazy stuff sometimes with the German men, but sometimes you, but sometimes you nailed
Yeah.
it. Because for me,
Yeah.
I understood the word twins perfectly well,
Uh-huh.
but I thought I had heard something like cousin, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
cosmic twins.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm impressed. That's very cool. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so that's it. That was the thing that we forgot to mention. So let's
Yeah.
advance now. Oh, now I know another expression, cosmic twins. It's the first time I hear that.
Yeah. I think that that is a song with this name.
My God, you have an incredible memory for songs, is isn't that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You should be near my heart or your mother's heart. You were so vulnerable. You were 5 pounds. So you slept on my chest for 2 weeks. It's the most terrifying thing in the world to have this little thing right there. You were born on my birthday. Greatest gift I could ever
Cosmic
get.
twins.
Cosmic twins. But I think there's something, we were born for each other.
Still can't believe you made mom drive herself to the hospital while she was in labor.
I did not make your mother. She wouldn't let me drive. She just wouldn't trust me driving.
Okay, now before I forget, because let's separate this from the rest of the film. Okay, first of all, now I realized that I understood something else as well. I understood cause, like what's the cause of something? Cause my
Uh-huh.
twins. See, you're not the only one who do the German thing. I understood
Very
cause
right.
my twins. Okay, but so anyway, in the end, she kind of confronted her father, right? Saying that she
Yeah.
still couldn't believe what?
Um, she couldn't believe that he had made her mother drive to the hospital when she was in labor.
Yes. And what
And
did what
yeah,
did he explain?
and he said uh, that uh, she had not uh, had not she hadn't, oh my god, allowed him to
Right.
drive. I don't know.
Right. She had not allowed him to drive her to the hospital. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and
Because
he thought that he she um, what's the word he said? Um, sh- uh, he said she thought he drives he drove he was a bad driver. Oh my
okay,
god.
okay. She couldn't
She
trust him.
thought he
She
was,
could
yeah,
she couldn't trust
bad
him.
driver.
She couldn't trust him. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. Okay. Look, from an interpretation point of view, it's perfect. But I just want to discuss one grammatical structure with you, which I think is very interesting.
Mhm,
He, because he could have said something else, but he didn't, right? So imagine this. So suppose I'm Bono, you're my daughter interviewing me, and you say, "Oh, Daddy, I still can't believe you made Mom drive to the hospital, right? When she was in labor. I
mhm,
just can't believe you did that." Well, I didn't make your mom drive, right?
mhm,
She didn't allow me to drive her to the hospital. This grammatical structure is perfectly fine, right?
mhm,
But he didn't use this. He didn't say, well, you see, I didn't make her. Your mom didn't allow, your mom didn't
mhm,
permit. He said something else. He said, well, I didn't make your mom drive to the hospital. She wouldn't let me. So he
mm,
used this modal. She wouldn't let me.
uh-huh.
How different is she didn't let me from she wouldn't let me? What do you think from an interpretation point of view when you receive these two messages, right? What's your interpretation? What's the difference between she didn't let me drive, she wouldn't let me drive?
Well, I understood that he didn't even try to drive or to ask to drive
Why
because
not?
he knew that she never let him drive.
Right, exactly. So that's the message. And it's different, right? Because you see, if we say she didn't let him drive, it's one event. It's that day, that moment she
Uh-huh.
made that decision. But if he said, "Well, your mom wouldn't let me," it means that she didn't let me drive that day. But if she were in labor again 2 days later, it would be the same thing. 6 months
Yeah.
later, it would be the same thing. And this is something that she would do. She would always reject me as a driver because she
Yeah,
didn't
maybe
trust me.
because he was recording and because he's an Irishman and Irishmen always drink.
Yes. Well, she didn't trust him, right? So
Yeah.
she would not under any circumstance, okay? And we could also add this idea. When he said that, it means that
Mhm.
she would not under any circumstance allow him to drive. Okay? Great.
Yeah.
So now that part is over. Okay. And let's go to this part here now.
She was in labor.
I did not make your mother. She wouldn't let me drive. She just wouldn't trust me driving.
You grow and evolve into this role that you've played for me in my life. And what have you learned through that experience?
They say being in a band is like a extended childhood. I don't really agree with that because actually I think to have the friction of equals is quite mature. That said, all the sort of gangland, youthful silliness stays with you. So I'm not sure I was the most evolved man. I'm still working on that. And your mother's was incredible immediately. And I just kind of followed her around and did what she said. My father When we announced that your mother was pregnant with you, he just laughed. He laughed and he just looked at me and he just went, revenge. Truth of it is you weren't revenge. And you and your sister Eve, you were the most incredible kids. I feel I have learned a lot from you, actually.
Difficult?
No, I need to see again because I don't know. I think it's because the coffee, but
Yeah.
my mind fly away.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
problem. Let me play it again. It's interesting anyway. Okay, but let me just what's the word? Not guide. Well, let me just point out to you that the question she asked is quite interesting, especially because she used the perfect tense. She said the present perfect. She said, "What have you learned?"
Mm.
She was in labor.
I did not make your mother. She wouldn't let me drive. She just wouldn't trust me driving.
You grow and evolve into this role that you've played for me in my life. And what have you learned through that experience?
They say being in a band is like a extended childhood. I don't really agree with that, because actually I think to have the friction of equals is quite mature. That said, all the sort of gangland, youthful silliness stays with you. So I'm not sure I was the most evolved man.
It's not your
Too
fault.
difficult.
It's not your fault. It's difficult. But did you
Yeah.
understand the question?
Yeah, only the question.
Yeah. So
Not
what?
the answer.
So what was the question?
Well, she asked him what he had learned
Uh-huh.
or had been learned.
Well, actually, think about. They're both still alive, right? And because she's using present perfect, she is suggesting two things. One, that the learning process is still going on, but also
Yeah.
that whatever's going on in their present is a result of lessons from the past. So, what have you learned, right? Okay. So, do you understand the meaning of the word role model, or just the word role, like in the theater? Wait a second. Let me role. So, for
Oh,
example,
okay. I understand.
you understand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and what about a role model? Do you know what that means?
I think so.
Yeah. So your role model is somebody you look up to. So, for example,
Mhm.
the person that you are today, okay, for instance, you're honest, you're hardworking, you're dedicated, you're respectful of people's rights or whatever, right? Imagine that all of these things are very important basic principles that you got from your father, because
Yeah.
as a kid, I mean, and when you were a kid and your father was around you, he insisted on exercising those things with you. He was always talking about the importance of being right, not being right, but being honest, for example, right? So anyway, so your father played a role model in your life. So she said that he did that for her, right? He played this role model for her, right? So she wanted to know what he had learned, or what he has learned until now through that experience, right? Okay. Now, he said something like this. he said that being in a band is like extended childhood. When I say that, do you understand what I'm saying? Being in a band,
Yeah.
yes? Okay. Because it's not that it's difficult to understand what he says, but it's difficult to remember all the things because it's a complex analogy, right? So,
Yeah.
people say that I've never been in a rock band, but I imagine that when you're famous and you travel all over the world and you make a lot of money playing music, which is something that you like, it doesn't feel like work, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
Fun. It's fun. Party
yeah, I
all the
mean,
time.
yeah, I believed that if I had a guitar and if I played well, and if my friends wanted me to be a member of their band, and if we became famous, and if we traveled the world, and every time I went on the stage to play, for me would be like, my God, it's a gift. What am I going to
Yeah.
complain about? I'm playing the instrument that I love. I play well, and people like my music. How hard is that? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what childhood is, isn't it? You go to the playground and you do the thing that you love, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So people say that being in a band is like extended childhood. The question is, does he completely agree with that? Well,
I don't know.
he said he didn't. He didn't completely agree with that, right? Why? Because he said this, the friction of equals is quite maturing. So what he's saying is this, 4 members in the band, right? I don't know if you know about this, because I watched another interview the other day about the band, and I learned this. Every time they do a concert, for example, the amount of money they make is split in 4 equally. So it doesn't matter that Bono is the lead singer and that he is more famous than the other members of the band. They all get 25%, equal shares. So what he was saying was this. People say that being in a band is extended childhood, but I don't agree with that because I think that the friction of equals, because they're the same, 4 guys, 4 members, 4 owners of the band, right? So this friction of equals is quite maturing. But then he added something else. He said, well, but having said that, right, it's also true that this kind of gangland, I'm not sure the word he used, but being in a band is like being the member of a gang. So it doesn't matter how old you get, that kind of mentality or that kind of behavior, it stays with you. So in other words, it is true if you think about that from that point of view, that it's extended childhood. Does that make sense? So people say it is. He doesn't agree with that because the friction makes you mature. But at the same time, that youthful silliness of a gangland-like life remains, it stays with you. Well, that was just to create the basis for what he said. He said that he learned a lot with the birth of, I forgot her name now, Jordan. This one in the interview is Jordan, and her sister. They really helped him to grow and to evolve. But he doesn't think he is the most evolved person. He thinks he has evolved, but he doesn't think he's the most evolved, and he's still learning. He's still evolving. Understood me completely?
Yes, completely.
Okay. So,
Clear.
right. Listen to it one more time to see if you find in Bono's explanation the elements that I tried to elicit here. Okay?
Okay.
So let's have a quick look. And I think I should stop at 8:30 because of your blood test, right? because you're.
Yes, it's because I'm really hungry.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't want to be near you when you're hungry. It's a dangerous thing. 1 second. Let's just confirm this. The last part. Okay. Let me put this guy here, and let's go with 215.
You grow and evolve into this role that you've played for me in my life, and what have you learned through that experience?
They say being in a band is like a extended childhood. I don't really agree with that, because actually I think to have the friction of equals is quite mature. That said, all the sort of gangland, youthful silliness stays with you. So I'm not sure I was the most evolved man. I'm still working on that. And your mother's was incredible immediately. And I just kind of followed her around and did what she said. My father, when we announced that your mother was pregnant with you, he just laughed. He laughed and he just looked at me and he just went, revenge. Truth of it is you weren't revenge. And you and your sister Eve, you were the most incredible kids. I feel I have learned a lot from you, actually.
I forgot to mention his wife.
Mm-hmm.
She was amazing. And he just followed her around. She was the one who kind of guided him. Okay, but my question was, when you watched it again now the second time, did you identify those things that I tried to make them clear to
Yes.
you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
catch.
Yeah,
Catch it.
I caught this. Yeah.
I caught it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I should let you go now, and I see you again tomorrow. Hopefully, with a lot of coffee in your system, right?
Yes. I'm so sorry about this.
Don't worry, it's totally fine. It's fun. Okay. Oh, and you know what? Seriously, I think you should be very proud of yourself, because even without the elixir of life, the coffee, what coffee is for you, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You did that thing. You figured out the cosmic twins. I was
Yeah.
completely lost. You should be proud of yourself. Anyway, thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay?
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Bye-bye. Have a good day. And have a big
For
breakfast.
you too. Oh, yes.
You will,
Bye-bye.
right? Bye.
Yeah, I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.